prepared an introduction about Larry Smith, but I think most of you probably know who he is, and if you don't, you're in for a nice surprise. So I'd like to welcome up Larry Smith.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's certainly my pleasure to be with you. Given how many students I teach and how many classes I teach, you hardly think I need yet one more audience. However, to a large degree, I'm here out of my own personal frustration, so I'm trying to press my own personal frustration to abate. This university has an enormous amount of talent. I actually know it. You've impressed me. I shouldn't tell you that, I'll fail you next course, but that's my honest belief. And the thing that, however, aggravates me is that so many of you misdirect your talent and apply it to a very, very small part of technology. And your herd-like, fad-like behavior drives me nuts, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm here to talk about what I believe is the most important, most critically important form of software that exists and the highest use of the technology of computing. It really amazes me. This is a computing school. This is a computing school in more than one faculty. But so many of you seem not quite to understand, or your colleagues who aren't in the room anyway, appear not to understand the value of what constitutes either artificial intelligence or a subset of all of this also called expert systems. So I want to talk about why I believe the opportunities are enormous. I'm going to tell you why I think they're hidden. And if you're going to pursue this stuff, through the club, through your professional activities, through co-op, if you're going to pursue them, get used to the fact you're going to be largely alone. Get used to the fact that when you're in the bomber bragging about what you're doing, nobody is going to be impressed. Because you've said a sentence that doesn't have the word Google in. If it has the word Google in, everybody at the table would be impressed. And people would buy you drinks, trying to get secrets from you about how you got into Google. Enough of all of this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I want to talk, so that's what I want to do. And then I want to give you examples of work which is underway in the economy. I want to discuss with you the applications of artificial intelligence and expert systems which are in your economy right now, hidden there, hidden and unappreciated. So I want to talk about the hidden opportunities of artificial intelligence and expert systems. I want to give you some examples, and I also want to give you some sense of where this may all end up in the future. My goal is very straightforward, so that you might be tempted to participate. If you're already doing it, then to say full speed ahead and keep doing it. Okay, let's start it with a few quick definitions so that there's no confusion about artificial intelligence. I am tired of long, complex, philosophical debates about artificial intelligence. Shall we move on, ladies and gentlemen? I, by the way, have read your artificial intelligence textbooks. Largely speaking, I'm wholly unimpressed with them. They do all the damn funniest things. They will decide to do in 3 paragraphs an apparent discussion of human consciousness. Now, people have been discussing this for 5,000 years. People get PhDs in philosophy with respect to what is human consciousness. And why on earth they would find it necessary to comment in your textbook in 3 paragraphs and then come to a conclusion? All computer scientists look like morons who have about as much mental flexibility as a vegetable salesman. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Ignore that stuff in your textbooks. Just ignore it, because it is like neither here nor there. Also ignore all the stuff about the complex differences between expert systems and artificial intelligence. I'm going to not talk about how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I know how to write checks to get people to do it. I know how, and I know what should be being done. I know what the output should look like. I know what the result is supposed to be. So don't come here waiting for me to tell you how to do it. I'm going to tell you that sometimes you will use a rule-based expert system, which strictly speaking is not artificial intelligence. If artificial intelligence means anything that's rigorous as opposed to a buzzword, and it means a computer system which is attempting to mimic human thought. It's not in a total sense, but in a sense that you're trying to produce a piece of software that in some sense is mimicking the structures of human thought to the best extent that we understand them. Keep in mind, of course, we cannot define and even particularly measure human intelligence, so be very careful that you don't use the word artificial intelligence as if you truly knew what it meant, because you have to know what the part of the intelligence word meant in that phrase. But let's just say it's mimicking human thought in some way that appears reasonable. And an expert system, by contrast, is simply a rule-based system. In other words, nothing to do with mimicking human thought. It is just a highly elaborate rule set with decision gates and the whole bit. The reason you can treat both of them the same way is because I want to talk about the problems to which you apply one of these two elements. And of course, there are solutions which are hybrids. They are partly expert system rule-based, and they're using some of the attributes of what are artificial intelligence, as commonly understood. I want to talk about why bother? Why bother? And what's the economic reward? Now I know, you're doing this for the glory of it. I know, you're creating these things because they are so beautiful and elegant. Yes, well, you are doing it because you love it. But I'm an economist, so I'm going to talk about making money. I'm an economist, I'm going to talk about changing society. I'm going to talk about economists, I like power. I'm going to talk about how expert systems or artificial intelligence can change the world. And I want to tell you why, 50 years from now, the students at the University of Waterloo who paid no attention to artificial intelligence, who didn't opt for the elective courses when they had them, didn't join organizations like this, I suspect that they will live to regret it. When their kid says, what were you doing in artificial intelligence in 2006? Well, if you're in this room, you should have something to say that you were at least involved, and or at least noticed it was an important thing to do. That there are many of your colleagues at this university, throughout engineering and throughout mathematics, who are just, it's all going over their head. And they will be rather embarrassed 50 years from now to have to admit that they noticed it only after Time magazine started writing about it on the front page. But it is too late. It is too late. You want opportunity, you want serious opportunity, you do something when it's not popular. I know, it seems to be the curse of people who are young and have talent. The talent is okay, but the youth is the thing that is really the obstacle. Because we know what young people like to do, which is not to stand out. Then you have a herd instinct which is extraordinarily impressive. Yes. Do you think it's people my age cluttering up my space? No, not you. The point, of course, is I don't care if you have high social needs because you don't have a social life. I'm glad if you're looking for companionship. Go, have friends, have better than friends. Do it all, except not when you're pursuing your life's work. That is where you leave the herd instinct behind. And that's one of the reasons these applications are so underdeveloped. Because it turns out that software to create communications tools seems to be the obsession of every single computer scientist on the planet. I can't imagine how computer scientists, who have a reputation for being not overwhelmingly articulate, spend so much time trying to create communication tools. It's a contradiction that is like slightly ironic on top of it all. We want to talk about economic value. Communications, the great, of course, irony is that many of the communications technologies, which are very powerful and impressive and pervasive, yes, and influential, did not actually create all that much money. I would ask you to notice. There are a few exceptions. There are a few exceptions of very profitable computing companies. There are a few exceptions. Most computing companies, most software development companies are okay profitable. But they're not taking the world. That's the ones, of course, that survive to actually be able to calculate that they have any level of profitability. The problem is that you all want to create talk to. And don't you think we have enough? That's what I don't you think we have enough of it. Now, trouble is, you think not. Everyone's still trying to create talk tools. And you have a whole different destiny. AI expert systems has a different destiny. It's not inherently about talking. It's not about talking at all. It is about the other. It's about the other for work, not talk. Now, who's going to get the higher reward? Someone who creates a talk tool or someone who creates a work tool? Fundamentally, that's all you need in terms of understanding the power of looking at this form of technology. That's, at one level, all you need to think about. It's why the economists get so agitated about it. We get agitated about it because it's one of two things. It is work or talk. What will get most rewarded? Work. Always work. Always, always work. Why will work always get rewarded? Because what will be rewarded is making a profit. I'm sorry. I know it's kind of a capitalist bad thing to say. Profit, profit, profit. And how will you make profit? I get work done cheaper. How do you get work done cheaper? Don't let humans do it. We're going to talk plainly about this, ladies and gentlemen. I have too many things to do to sort of beat around the bush about it. Your goal, as someone interested in creating expert systems and use artificial intelligence to create work, that's what joins these two different, because an AI system and expert system can be structurally and philosophically very different. But they're joined by what the marketplace wants, which is work. And both of these systems can deliver work that humans normally do. And so that's the whole point. Your job is to get rid of human work. Now you're all looking at me like that does not seem like a socially sensible thing to do. Well, I mean, what do you mean it's a socially sensible thing to do? You're trying to get rid of work. Because some of you are thinking, yes, but that means get rid of human workers. Yes. Yes, it means getting rid of human workers. It means getting rid of all the work the machine can do, and we will let the humans do the other work. Oh, I see. You don't think there's any other work humans can do. Now look, you've gone from one extreme to the other. You think the only kind of tools a computer can create are talk tools. Then I say, why don't you do work tools? Then you go to the other extreme and say, okay, well, the machine can do any kind of work. No, it can't do any kind of work, not at least in terms of our understanding of what machine intelligence can do. But it can do an enormous amount of work. And a machine can do it, a machine should do it. And it frees you, as the wonderful phrase is, to pursue opportunities elsewhere. Well, not you. You have to worry about it because you'll be creating all the unemployment. The other people will be worried about where they pursue opportunities elsewhere. So let's talk about this whole issue from the most fundamental point of view. I am telling you, that this is one of the most important technologies that can be created. And I'm saying it based simply on the dynamics of the marketplace. The marketplace wants work created. They do not want more data. Stop that. Stop talking to me. You can't talk and work at the same time. Full stop. I am not working. I am talking. I do work. Believe it or not, I do work. I do economic research. I do economic analysis. I could not possibly be doing it now because my brain can only do one thing. It can talk or it can work, but it cannot do them at the same time. And those people who created all this communications technology are burying me. They're stealing more and more of my time. They want me to talk more and more and work less and less. While competitive pressures rise, and the global economy is saying, make more profit. So let's make machines. Simple as that. Now, it's unappreciated. Unappreciated. Everyone's fascinated by talk. Now, on one hand, that's frustrating to me because it means so many opportunities unrealized. But from your point of view, and maybe even mine, the more the opportunities are hit, the fewer competitors there are. So you see, maybe you can make a mark in the world of computer-generated work. Work. We can find this in a minute. Computer-generated work. This is what we're talking about. Computer-generated work. You can make your mark at it. By creating something that doesn't even make a lot of work. Just makes some work. And you know why making some work's good? Because there's so few competitors for any kind of work tool. So you could make a fairly straightforward work tool that no one else has thought to make. Make a big splash with it. It's like the first word processor. Oh yeah, just get to the idea, word processing. Souped up typewriter. Been there, done that, so don't do that again. But you understand, it was a simple thing to do. And it made a lot of money for a lot of people. So during this wonderful opportunity, because the world is slow to notice what's going on. So from society's point of view, it's bad that computer-generated work is being developed so slowly by the people who know how to do it. That's you sitting in this room. The good part is, so that's bad from society's point of view. From your individual, greedy, grasping, capitalist point of view, it's wonderful. Because it means you play within territory. When the opportunities are hidden, it means there are few competitors. So the standard of what you must create to do something significantly important falls. So you want to have impact when you're 27? You can, by creating work tools. Now, the next thing that you need to notice, well, I'll give you some specifics in a moment, but the next sort of strategic element you've got to notice is this whole business about, so it's you know, unexploited opportunities. But on one hand, am I saying, oh, be radical, here's something that nobody else on the planet is doing, and you do it, and you'll be like look like a genius? But oddly enough, I don't even have to tell you that. Because there's an enormous amount of these systems already being created. And that cool thing is, or the strange thing is, that nobody notices. We've got expert systems, we've got AI systems working through the entire economies of the industrial world. But they're doing it low profile. They're doing it, sometimes they don't even have names. Sometimes the names are so generic they don't even mean anything. You see, you can say something like search, and you won't know what search is. Oh, search is cool, search is glamorous, search means money. Not today. Understand, you see, that this thing, computer-generated work, but you've never heard the phrase computer-generated work. Your AI and expert system, the phrase is thrown around, and typically, it's a, oh, well, that's an old-fashioned thing. Oh, yeah, that failed, didn't it, in 1972, or whatever. No, it didn't fail in 1972. It percolates there, under everyone's radar scope, without even a name. Now, one of the reasons it doesn't have a name is because the only thing you're impressed with is an IPO making $2 billion to someone who's 32. Otherwise, you don't want to pay attention to it. The point, of course, is there is no great AI company that's IPO'd and make millionaires and billionaires of all the people involved. Of course, you've totally forgotten that there are many private companies, never publicly traded, but a little profit machine. No, big profit machine. Cranking money up, year in and year out. Making expert AI systems that do work. And you don't know about it because it cannot be reported. It can't be reported because it's all private stuff. It's all private stuff. And why would you have a competitive advantage? You've got turf that belongs to you, everyone around you doesn't know about it, and you're netting $2 million a year of personal income. Why would you tell anyone? I wouldn't tell anyone, and I wouldn't tell the world if I knew you were doing it either, because I'm a person of discretion. But that is actually the point. It's not a small point. Your whole perception of where opportunities are clouded by the fact that the only companies you know about are the publicly traded ones. Like, why would that person who's making $2 million a year in cash that he can walk off with, why would he envy the founders of Google? Why would he? Because he's also got privacy and doesn't have to proceed with armed guards following his every move to Google. Now, one of the challenges is, I want to tell you where they're being used. They're being used all over the bloody place. Now, the other element of why they tend also to be underappreciated, is the last element of the why, is that in fact, I can hardly say it, it's so old-fashioned. It's like, custom software. Like you've got to do one-ups. And everyone knows that's like so passe. You create a platform technology that you can sell to everyone on planet Earth. And you will charge $1,000 to 6 billion people, and it will be so cool. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe that's okay for talk tools, because talk tools have to have an uniformity. If I'm going to talk to you across the continent, then yes, it has to be a uniform, standard piece of software. But when we're doing work, the point is platform solutions, generic solutions don't work. Because if I'm selling you a work tool, for goodness sakes, I'm selling you a work tool. Oh, I'm going to sell it to all your competitors? No. Because I'm going to charge you an arm and a leg, because I'm selling you competitive advantage. We're talking about selling software hundreds of thousands of dollars a pop. Because I'm selling you power in the marketplace. And if I'm selling you power in the marketplace, I want money from me. You charge monopoly prices, and I give you competitive advantage, and I want monopoly back. And I want it back. And I'm doing one of. You can't have it. He can have it. Oh, unless you want to bid more, in which case that will be okay too. The point, of course, is because there's not a single software name you know, because there isn't a single expert system to It's a whole bundle of systems. Sometimes they have proprietary names you've never even heard of. So I want to talk about the examples of where they now exist. All over the place. So they go by numbers of bogus names. One of the reasons nobody knows about AI expert systems is we give it 400 names. Now actually, if I was planning to keep this global gold mine, exciting, glamorous opportunity a secret only for those people who could decode it, yes, I would give it 400 names. Make the Da Vinci Code look like that. Child's play. But they actually do it. They actually do. Now, I don't know that it's a conspiracy. I sometimes like to think that there's a secret plan there. I don't think people are that smart to have a secret plan. Although I've been tempted to. Be a good story, though. This would be a good story. For example, process control software. Doesn't that just make your heart go thump thump with the excitement? Process control software. Don't you just want to? There it's posted. There it's posted in John line. Developer for process control software. Yes, that's me. I'm a process control software. Daddy's name. And you can say to your friends, I got the process software control job. And you just got to work for Google. And I know pretty well that is not your reaction. Process control. For example, the chemical industry. Do you know the chemical industry is like rather important? Don't you understand it's like a rather important part of all industrial societies? Whether that's producing fuels, whether it's producing plastics, whether it's producing, I don't know, pharmaceuticals, antibiotics to keep you alive when you've got mono or something. For goodness sakes, ladies and gentlemen, wouldn't you think that this would be a strategically important industry? You have to understand that most of the chemical industry, most of the petroleum processing industry, you see those great refineries. You see them, you've seen pictures of them. They're big and clunky and so old-fashioned boring. They are extraordinarily complex exercises in engineering. So talk to an engineer. Talk to an engineer, not a computer engineer, about machinery and complex process control. And some of these industries also are biologically alive. So in fact, it is very complicated to make a process control in which you are dealing with living organisms. They can be tiny living organisms, but you can't whip them too hard. You'll kill them. But seriously, you can't put them in an egg beater and spin them like crazy. You'll point them into each other and kill them. It is an extraordinarily complex thing. So if you've ever seen an oil refinery, major chemical operation, major fermentation system. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not giving you examples you can relate to. Distilleries. They are largely run by a machine, not by people. Are you aware of that? The machine runs it. The machine opens the valves. The machines close the valves. The machine monitors the thing. The machine is not giving information to a controller, who then says, push the red button, push the yellow button, push the green button, push the blue button. Oh, light flashing, push the blue button twice. By the time they do it, the plant will blow up. The truth is, that whole industry is driven by custom-designed expert systems, sometimes intelligent in the AI sense, and sometimes just rule-bound. If the temperature is more than 200 degrees Celsius, open all the valves and run like hell, because something has gone wrong. That is, in fact, a critical point. But it seems to you so unglamorous. Just making chemicals cost effectively. But that is a powerful example. So don't tell me there are no expert systems AI. Don't tell me they're passé. How can something be passé when it is the dominant form of computing in a particular industry? How can that be passé? How can it be obsolete? In fact, you don't even design any new such facility without, of course, calling up new software at the same time. Process control. Process control in the food industry. Process control in the automobile industry. Oh, I know. There go those fine cars down the assembly line with craftsmen and women building cars by hand. I don't know what century you're living or even what planet you're living on. The automobile industry, most of manufacturing, is not as computerized as, for example, the petrochemical industry. But it's also highly computerized. Highly computerized about information, no, about work. It tells machines destroy the car. But these are machines instructing other machines to do work. Computer keeping all the machines working all together. Yes, on the automobile assembly line there are a few actual workers. The dexterity of the human hand is still really quite remarkable. So, okay, the machine says, stick your hand under the dashboard and bring these wires together because we can't figure out an automated way to do it. So the poor worker climbs under there, accommodating the machinery. And the machinery's timing it. Oh, 30 seconds, get up, we're moving you, bang you along the assembly line if you can get out and move along. That's work generated by computer. The task, the decision is created by the machine. And the worker accommodates it, not through information. Because do this next, and do it fast. That's wonderful, isn't it? But it's taking the machine, making the man an extension of the machine. Isn't that like so cool? Taking all your free will, all your discretion, because we can't trust you. You know, you'll get lazy and screw it on backwards sometimes. You'll screw up. So, we don't even trust you. But the machine will turn you into a pure physical thing until, of course, we finally dispense with the physical thing altogether and just get a robot with manual dexterity who will get under the hood. But look at it like this isn't happening. This is not science fiction. This is manufacturing today. This is food processing today. This is petrochemicals today. Today. And those are all expert systems or artificial intelligence or hybrids, and they are all producing work. They're producing decision. And frequently, you don't even have the human intermediation. The machine talks to the other machine, and case closed. And the work is done. And the human stands there. It's the coolest job on earth. To stand there and say, my machines are unfolding as the universe is unfolding as it should. My machines are performing their tasks. So perfectly, I'm bored out of my mind. So that's the point. One last example of that. This is only one of the many forms of work generated by computers. The other example I have to give you, because you've heard it before, but I love this example, so I'm going to give it to you again. And that, of course, is I'm obsessed about a number of companies. Walmart is one. You see, what you forget is something like Walmart, ubiquitous, and his family is the richest family on earth, collectively richer than that of Mr. Gates. The children of Sam Walton have more net worth than does Bill Gates. And the margin increased because of the stock market difficulties of the last 2 weeks, which affect Mr. Gates more than Mr. Walmart. Don't you understand what that store is? It's not a store. When you walk in there, yes, there are people. Attachments to the machine. Smile every 30 seconds. That is what they're supposed to do. But the machine is in charge. The machine is in charge. All the clerk has to do is tell the machine what was sold by dragging a product up the barcode scanner. Mother Machine deals with all the details. Mother Machine knows what you bought. Mother Machine knows how you paid for it. And the key thing is, Mother Machine knows what's on the shelf. No, not just that. Mother Machine knows what you're going to buy tomorrow. Mother Machine orders it to be delivered just before you buy it. It is the coolest thing. And of course, you don't think they're a buyer. Well, there are some supervisors. So largely speaking, machinery orders the stuff. And it doesn't even order it with humans. Humans are stupid. Humans forget things. Humans get instructions wrong. Humans get bored. Humans write things down wrong. They put them wrong. So, Walmart's computer talk to a manufacturer's computer, anywhere in the world, by the way, and say, make this now, ship it then. Period. And the other machine says, yes, fine. Do it perfectly order. Simple as that. Simple as that. So stand in Walmart. It is one of the greatest expressions of expert systems you will find in your economy. So you want to, it is necessary for you to think billions of dollars before you get interested. Okay? Walmart. Billions of dollars. And it's still not glamorous, is it? Glamour is what you gotta have. Glamour is what you gotta have. The marketplace wants work. Not glamour. So, you've got, let's see, we're expert system. They're in manufacturing, they're in process industries of all kinds. Where else are they? Well, there's a few only other minor industries. Let's see, the financial system. So let's see, someone just declined your credit card because you maxed out. No, Mother Machine did it. Then you got this letter saying, you're a wonderful person. You have so indebted yourself, we will now let you indebt yourself more. That's the machine telling you that. It's following a precise set of rules about whether you should get money or not. Don't tell me that there are no, we are the sexy industries. I know we're the sexy, you gotta have sex, okay? Let's do the financial industry. You know, they make megabucks in the financial industry, and more with each passing year, you are taking human discretion out, and you're substituting computer decision making. The great credit cards, which by the way are profit machines, as well they might be when charging you 22.5, God knows what percent per minute. When they're doing that, they can't run them with human agents. It did not occur to you that you can't have millions and millions of computer cards, all driven by like a whole army of clerks, and as many clerks as you have customers. That doesn't make a lot of economic sense. Mother Machine decides whether you get a card. Mother Machine decides whether they should send you an application pre-approved. Who approved it? Mother Machine approved it. It's a done deal when Mother Machine decides you can get credit. Mother Machine decides whether it will rise or fall. Mother Machine will decide whether. The pattern of your spending is so peculiar that we're going to decline your card even though it's actually your card. Or Mother Machine will decide that, let's see, yesterday afternoon you were in Mississauga and today you're in the land buying jewelry. By the way, happened to me. And happened to one of my identities. And Mother Machine was watching. Mother Machine thought it implausible. I went from Mississauga in the space of like 12 hours to the land and buying extremely expensive jewelry that I was trying to charge on my credit card. And Mother said no to the jewelry. Of course, it never happened still. There was a clerk deciding that, oh yes, we'll watch all million transactions a minute and decide whether they are anomalous. Of course not. Mother Machine was. So how can you tell me this has nothing to do with anything? So in the past 2 weeks, the stock market has twitched several times. Twitched, major lead. Whoa, this is quite exciting for the financial industry because you know what they had to do? I hope this doesn't scare you. But twice in the past 2 weeks, because the market has dropped a couple of percent in one day, which is quite like what? Don't be scared. I wouldn't have trouble saying it. On 2 occasions in the last 14 days, we took the machines offline. That's a big deal. It scares people when they have to do machines offline. They took the machines offline because the markets were moving to parameters for which the machines are not instructed. Because things like that are not supposed to happen. It is now such an extreme anomaly, you must now finally call a human worker. And the first thing the human worker says is, machines stand aside. It's kind of cool. Except that means while the machines are offline, human persons, imperfect, forgetful, lazy, corrupt, strange, half asleep, stolen, human persons are now managing your financial network. Now, thank goodness the systems went back online quickly. But seriously, they were taken offline because there was a danger they would overreact. They're intended to react. Do you know that most of the transactions in the stock markets are generated by computer trading programs? Look, there's another word for an artificial intelligence expert system. Computerized trading programs. Now that makes it sound like it's something completely different. It's not. It makes investment work. It makes investment decisions. And nobody supervises it. It makes investment decisions. Buy this, sell that, an elaborate mathematical strategy. We will buy 7 things simultaneously and sell them simultaneously in 14 different places under 32 different conditions. And only Mother Machine can do it. You want to try to do that? Your head will blow up. See more and more expert systems with artificial intelligence. First, they started replacing simple human work. Open the valve, close the valve. Approve the credit, decline the credit. But now they're starting to do things that humans cannot do. A billion humans together could not do it because it is so complex. It has to run so rapidly that only Mother Machine can do it. So there's a whole set of transactions, whole sets of financial instruments that can only be computer traded, can only be computer created, all driven as expert systems. Is that glamorous enough for you? Billions of dollars traded every day based on the technology that is our topic. Idle, money, power, financial markets, capital, trillions of dollars. Currency markets, right now the currency markets, the global capital markets are always awake. Somewhere in the world, they're awake. Most of the capital markets now don't close. Most of the financial systems don't close. The Canadian banks now run 24 hours a day because they must watch what's going on everywhere in the world, even though parts of Canada are asleep or frozen. but the point is how we trade currency with AI expert systems. They're a whole industry, all driven by AI. And I ask you, when did you read on /.stupid? When did you read some commentary about the expert systems underlying the financial industry? When did you read a sexy example say, look at this program, it's made Bank of America $1 billion every 6 months? When did you read that? I have never read that, and actually, I have tools that look for those kinds of articles. That's the point. But it's true, you see, you can confirm this, keep in mind that you pay attention to all the different words under which expert systems are described. The financial industry is riven, and today cannot function without these expert systems. That's a simple fact, ladies and gentlemen. Still not glamorous enough? Okay, one more glamorous example, then we're going to talk about how you can be involved. Another example of glamorous. Making music. Oh, music. The poetry of the soul. Music. Oh, the artist. Starving. Tormented soul. Apparently sane people can't create music. Tormented soul, creating wonderful songs, speaking out of his heart. And it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that you, of course, are trying to destroy by sharing and not paying. Which I think is just wonderful. So keep on sharing. Don't stop sharing. But how do songs get released? How do songs get created? I know. It's a last great craft industry. One person with his guitar, banging away, singing off key. Occasionally with the aid of chemistry as the only other, technological tool being used at the same time. Yes, I've been to some strange places with some strange musicians. But it's not tobacco smoke that's clouding the air either. Thank you very much. Now, the point is, there the expert systems reside. If you're looking at the major labels, the major labels in North America and most of the major labels in Europe, some of which of course commonly own, they still are actually making money, not just obscene money that they used to make years ago, courtesy of your enterprising sharing. Oh no, your communist view of property. Would you understand this, ladies and gentlemen? Karl Marx approves of what you're doing. The man's been dead low these many years, and he's screaming at you, share more, share more. You're bringing down the capitalist world. Share software. He'd really like you to share software. The only trouble is that gets too close to comfort, because you're intending to be a sole supplier of monopoly software. Now you're having this intellectual indigestion. All your music is stolen. Almost all your software is stolen. But no one's going to steal the stuff I create. I wish you well in this internal contradiction. But we're back to the music industry. The music industry is now profitable, just not obscenely profitable. And they, of course, have to exert every effort to squeeze every nickel out of the lower volume of music they can legitimately sell. Thank God, of course, from their point of view, for iTunes, which actually is able to extract at least a few nickels out of the system. Very expensive to release and promote artists. So what do? Almost all major songs are, who decides whether to be released or not? Good. Mother Machine decides. Mother Machine does decide. In the olden days, this is like so disgusting. Like in the olden days, it's amazing how things work. That imperfect people would listen to a song. They were actually called, they were called, if they could do this predictably, they were said they had a golden ear. Oh, he has a golden ear. What the hell does that mean? You would listen to a song, typically an old dude you would listen to, and then say, oh, that will sell. Release 10 billion copies. No, that sucks. Make it go away. Arbitrary, capricious, unintellectual. Couldn't get it more arbitrary. Now, but you see Mother Machine. Mother Machine doesn't worry about personality. Mother Machine just listens to the song and says, that one will be good. That will be popular. That one is the worst song I've ever heard. No one will ever buy it. Release this one, we'll release that one. It's a stunning piece of software. Sitting in Spain, by the way. You mean Spanish machines are deciding what music you'll listen to? Yes, they are. They are. Sorry. Okay. The music you'll listen to, even though you're not paying for it. But Mother Machine is in your head, and Mother Machine is shaping what you're going to hear, which is really an intimate kind of thing. Now, how does Mother Machine do it? Well, you know how Mother Machine does it. It uses rules, and it uses AI type structures. I want to say type structures because, of course, they do not explain how they do it. Would you? Would you? No, they certainly do not. Now, there's a critique of this stuff. For those of you who are sitting back thinking, first, I hope most of you know your musical tastes are mediated by machines. But I hope you're not sitting there thinking, well, I could write that kind of program. If I had enough money, I'd stick it, I'd turn, I don't know, 1 million songs into digital form. I'd attach to the digital form a label saying whether it was successful or whether it was a dog song. And then I would send a data mining mathematical algorithm that some mathy will explain to you. CSers should pay attention to what they know how to do. And then send that into the digital database and find the common characteristics of successful songs. That's dumb, ladies and gentlemen. That, you see, by being able to think about it so quickly, it guarantees it's going to be done. But it doesn't make. It means, for the rest of humanity, all the songs will sound alike. They'll all sound like one song that was a hit. Just versions of one hit song. Till we are so driven to war by this one sound, we start killing each other. We hear this sound. No, what the software does, or claims to do, you decide whether it's doing it properly or not. What it claims to do is to find powerful elements, but not repetition. Because the developers say, of course that would drive everyone crazy. Of course, the whole point of new music is that it's new. It's got to be new and popular, but it can't be new and old, because it'll bore people. So they argue. Not only are they not somehow homogenizing music down to the lowest common denominator, or trapping it in a time warp so it will never change. They actually say, what we do is allow young, creative artists who would have to wait for years before they get a chance to have their music released. You can say to someone who's never recorded a song before, who's had like 3 live performances in small venues, we can say to the major labels, give that person exposure as it will strike a responsive chord with half of humanity. That's what they're claiming. And we certainly couldn't do that in some methodology you would invent in the next 2.5 minutes. But see how powerful it is. See how powerful it is? Because they argue that they are actually adding to the creativity of music. They're actually arguing that when it goes through their software, Mother Machine is better at finding creative songs. Mother Machine is less arbitrary. The fool with the golden ear is listening for familiar refrains. They are not. They're looking for, they're very vague about what it is they're looking for, as a matter of fact. They'll tell you what they're not doing. They'll tell you they're not doing simplistic pattern matching data mining. But how they call up this responsive chord is an interesting question. Of course, what they're doing now, with much less success, is of course the movie software, same kind of thing. Most movies are now supposed to go through predictive software. They're supposed to go through the software at the screenwriting stage to decide whether someone should spend $50 million. Movies are extremely expensive to make. You can hardly get any movie for $25 million with no special effects and two actors talking to each other for 2.5 hours you can get for $25 million. They're generally speaking exquisitely boring endeavor by listening to two people shout at each other. So now the software is trying to reduce the risk to let someone without reputation possibly get an approval of a major studio. Because the software now says, the software is now the expert. I like that word. The machine expert says, that's a dynamite script. And that script, even though you want to put Brad, what is it, Pitt, the Pitt person, in it, is a dog. It's going to be a dog with Brad Pitt. It's going to be a dog with no matter who you put in. But this script, you can put in unknown actors and pay them next to nothing. And it's a license to print money. Now, the movie software, the expert software, is much more controversial. It's much newer, has not achieved big deal success like the music software has. Satisfy me around the and don't be shy. They're going to change the world by being shy. I don't think so. How many of you are aware that most commercially released songs have been through this validation software? Raise your hand, please. Raise it so I can see it. Let everybody else look. What was the thesis? Hidden opportunities. Look around, look around. You must be vaguely interested in this topic, or why on earth would you be here? Look at a few hands. And I will bet you all listen to music. You'll be a strange person, even if you're a yeser, you're listening to music. You listen to it in techie ways because it doesn't do it in a techie way. It doesn't even remotely appeal to you. How can that? This is a big deal. It's a big commercial deal that has huge economic consequences, and you are typically a consumer, and you don't know about it. But you're the guys who, you don't suppose there's even some members of your club who didn't know about it. Now, wouldn't that be passing strange? The people who are interested in it still fail to fully appreciate the social and economic consequences of doing this. It's there. It goes by 1,000 names. It's a hidden opportunity, and only few people are doing it. There are right now we looked about 2 months ago, only 3 credible companies creating movie software. To the best of my knowledge, there are none doing TV evaluation software. This is one small example, but just to illustrate how undeveloped these opportunities are. A lot of people doing process control software in private companies, and they're getting paid a fortune for it. I'll give you one last example. It's a company that occasionally recruits at co-op. But I'm not going to tell you their name. But I'll tell you their characteristics. They're in a little strip mall. They're not in California. If you drive in, you'll be like a totally banal strip mall. You go to the door, you got to push a buzzer, someone will eventually come. They'll let you into a little cubicle, a little glass window, and someone will look out the little cubicle. Who are you and what do you want? And typically, if you're not there with an appointment, they will send you away. But when you're standing there for just a few seconds, you'll under the news show. And if you understand computing, there's a lot of you in this room who do. Well, actually, I suspect there are 1 or 2 artsies what they're planning to do is identify the opportunity, hire you to make them rich. And they're being very good. To actually recognize one or two faces. And I will not point them out, so oh, look at me like I'm going to be a bad person. And I'm an artsy prof, so I'm like the artsies infiltrating a group like this, trying to decide whether they can feed off your talent and exploit you. Then you look like, oh wait, that would be good. Please, somebody exploit me. Now, but the point is, in this little company with a little, you look over what I showed, and you will see a startling amount of computing interest. In fact, in terms of the advanced computing machinery, including the power that was to be there. Whoa, that's a variety of companies that are have multi-billion dollar revenues. It would look like they're data processing. But there's like 20 people in the group, 20 people in there, you wouldn't see that. 20 guys, man. And what are they doing? Oh, 20 of them are laboring on an expert system. Year in and year out, they make it better. And they guard that code for what it is, for a precious monopoly. What it is an instruction set. What it is it does design. No, it's not computer-assisted design. It does design. It does it to the end. You say, mother machine, make a design for X. You'll notice I'm leaving out the X. And it goes chug, 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 in an elaborate rule base with some AI sort of stuff in it. And out comes the design. And who do they sell it to? Well, it's not all that good an opportunity. There were only 5 customers. We only have like 5 customers in total. But the whole pool of customers is only 5. And who are the 5 customers? The 5 largest global communication companies on planet Earth. And why do they come to a dopey, sleepy town in the middle of nowhere, hiring a bunch of 20 guys in a strip mall to do a piece of design? Because they are designing one of the most critical components in the planetary communication system. And I wonder if you were designing a mission-critical piece of machinery for the entire network. If it fails, the network is down. The whole network, the computer network, sorry, the internet, the telephone network. The wireless systems crash. A world with no wireless. So don't you think, because of that circumstance, that mission-critical piece of equipment, don't you suppose that when they say to one of their 5 customers on Earth, this will cost you $22 million. Do you suppose they say, oh, no, that's too expensive? They're going to spend billions of dollars. They're spending billions of dollars on their infrastructure. That critical part is a rounding error. It's $35 million. From their point of view, they probably would not have noticed. And there's only one other competitor on this planet. 2 sellers, 5 customers, selling mission-critical stuff that is so esoteric, even the customer isn't, and the customer, by the way, doesn't know how it's designed. The customer only knows that when that is delivered, it works. That's all. That's all the customer knows. That's all the customer cares about. And of course, every time it's delivered, it works. Of course, only as good as the last component they deliver. So they guard that expert system. And if they hired you, you would serve the computer. You would serve Mother. And you would be asked to make it improve. You'd be asked. You'd have to see it with too more pushing it. What else could you do if you make it better? You have to see it. You have to understand its structure. You have to be told the secret. So then you take a risk and you take the co-op someone. Just they pay you a lousy $500 a week. And you're looking into their treasure. Let me see. They won't take you. Because I'm not prepared to pay you what they pay the 2 guys who are delivering employees. Let's see, if you were the profit machine, how rewarded would you be those 20 characters? Because you don't ever want them to walk couldn't exactly walk out with the code, but they could walk out with much of the proprietary knowledge. And so, of course, they are paid, how should we say delicately, very, 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 very well. Oh, and the work is interesting. The work is fascinating. And when they go home, the little kitty says, "So, tell me, Daddy, what did you do at work today?" "Oh, nothing very exciting, kiddo. I just kept the planetary communication networks on." Should they fail, of course, industrial society on the planet ceases within 10 seconds of the failure. And by the way, the power network will also go down if the communications network usually fails. Of course! What's running our lights? You really don't think that's just like a big gigantic curve with a big gigantic plug somewhere? The power grid in North America is run by an expert system. It moves and it shapes it. It has to run on an expert system. It has to be computer mediated. The network will blow up otherwise. It can't be allowed to blow up. So it'll go blowing up. Mother Machine watches it. Minute by minute. Mother Machine is taking a generator offline. Mother Machine is putting a generator back online. Mother Machine is sending power to California. Otherwise the lights will go up. No, the computer screens will go dark. That's even scarier. Yeah. How much more glamorous do you want that to be? And how much more hidden do you want it to be? Big time hidden? Big time glamorous? These systems form the underpinnings of industrial societies in terms of everything from its movie industry, to its banking industry, to its manufacturing, to its chemistry. Isn't that a big enough set of opportunities for you? What else do you want, ladies? What else do you want? What else do you want? Oh yes, you want to be able to brag about your employer. Well, those 20 guys don't brag about their employer. They are not allowed to brag about their employer. And I'm bragging about them discreetly. They occasionally brag discreetly too, but discreetly is all they can do and all they're ever tempted to do. So now, get involved. But there's one thing you have to recognize if you're going to get involved. In my work outside the university, I am more or less involved. Oh, yes, I know. Those who teach. Those who can do and those who can't teach. So I'm just telling you about what you could do, and I have no personal involvement in it. Baloney, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not letting you have all the fun. But the one thing you've got to recognize, if you want to take part in this field, that is exciting and is rewarding, and you can still get in on the ground floor. Like when you leave this room, don't tell anyone about this presentation. You want any more people complete. Say, oh, no, it was a typical aerospace boring thing. And you got excited, you got agitated, and I was totally unpersuasive. And we said, really, AI systems are overblown, and there's little opportunity, and we should all turn our attention to the internet and make it run faster or something. The point is, what you've got to start understanding if you want to participate and harvest this opportunity for yourself is that however you're going to do it, you're going to almost typically do it in interdisciplinary teams. So I'm not joking about the artsy sitting in the room thinking, goody, I understand this. Why does the artsy think he can make a contribution? Because the artsy thinks he understands work. See, before you could ever do this, you have to understand the nature of work undertaken. You have to understand if you're going to do process control for the chemical industry, you have to know something about the chemical industry. So let's see, I'm going to do expert systems for the chemistry industry. Okay, I'll get a PhD in molecular biology, and then a math. No, you will not. Go talk to someone who's already fanatical about chemistry, or biochemistry, or whatever the nature of the work is. This will have to be inherently multidisciplinary. It will have to be inherently collaborative. And you have to not be frightened to talk face-to-face, not by email, to other real human beings alive with you in the same physical space. It is scary, I know, but I think you're brave enough to cope with it. But the truth is, unless you're prepared to have interdisciplinary teams, unless you're prepared to work in them, you will maybe you could be a technician. in the expert system AI industry. That's as long as you'll ever be. If you want to be a mover and shaker, if you want to really have impact, then what you have to do is talk to other people in other disciplines. Be prepared to work with other people in other disciplines. Have respect for the knowledge of other people in other disciplines. Don't believe that, for example, I mean, the whole bunch of who's right for this process, actuarial science is one of them. They are extremely well paid. It's a monopolistic profession. It's mathematically oriented. Extremes create expert systems and put me out of work. But you'll never do that unless you don't have respect for how sophisticated actuarial science is, and unless you can talk and get one of the actsides to turn against their brothers and sisters and share your secrets. Inherently going to be interdisciplinary work. It remains one of the greatest obstacles to making these projects work in the real world. Frequently there's a lack of respect between different disciplines, and frequently, of course, there's actually no vocabulary. So then when they say, okay, you might know something that I can find useful, would you please speak English? But everyone speaks in jargon. Everyone speaks in jargon all the time. So what did you say? Can you repeat that again? What is a interfacing molecular? Well, I'm sorry, you have to learn the other guy's vocabulary. Whether you want to do it or not, learn the other guy's vocabulary. Learn the other guy's problem, and have a sensitivity for the nature of work. You're looking to identify work. What do people need done? What do people need done? How do you talk to them? What do I need done? I need an AI system that controls my email. So does 99% of the planet that has responsibility. That's not you yet. That's why you don't appreciate it. It's home information overload. It's killing us all. It's killing me. Fix it, fix it. And don't tell me you fixed it already. Don't tell me about spam filters. Don't tell me that I'm supposed to have a screening list. Oh, good. That's how I'll cope with email overload. I will no longer talk to anyone I don't already know. Fine. If you want to become the most boring person on the planet by only talking to the 32 friends you presently have, that's quite apart from the fact that if I was going to put this list on, it would actually run to about 16,000 people, which is like rather an impractical screening tool, don't you suppose? So you have to create a better tool. Now, some of you say, okay, I could create a better email management tool. Probably take me a weekend. No, all those solutions. Oh, you tried, eh? Yeah. The point, of course, is all those solutions are out in the marketplace and they all are not volume robust. I need a piece of software that decides for me. Larry, read this. Larry, ignore that. Even the communication tools need work agents to keep the information away from you. Great search engine. Oh, okay, search engines, yes. How do we search better? Oh, there are AI applications for search engines. Yes, there are. Yes, there are. You know the problem with search. Enter in your search. Yes, even some other Google. And if you ask an important question, you get 3.5 million hits. And Google or somebody else will say, narrow your question. I don't have a narrow question. I've asked you my question. Don't tell me to change the question. I've got a search engine. It tells me to change the damn question. You either search or you don't search. You don't tell me that my question is wrong. You creepy, excuse me, you brilliant CSers, don't you dare write that line of code saying, restrict your query. No, when you see that phrase, you know the system is failed. When you see that instruction, you know it's a non-intelligent system. When you see it, you should shriek, opportunity, opportunity. There must be a way, although it's not probably an obvious way, where you can take important questions and the search engine finds the answer. Even better is when the engine says, are you sure you didn't want to know about this instead of what you asked about? I don't mean because I misspelled. There's the AI textbook used in this university. I've reviewed most of them. I'm a glutton for punishment. And I get into interesting conversations in one of the parts of this university that can remain nameless. I'm reading about expert systems and how to create them in an AI book which muddles together that they're what the nature of doing it is. And there's a chapter on knowledge acquisition. Yeah, well, that sounds sensible. If you've got an expert system, it has to have knowledge. So how would you get the knowledge? Knowledge acquisition. Okay, it sounds, I'm reading this chapter. And some of you may recognize this. Then it says, knowledge acquisition involves asking the experts. So go ask experts. Well, okay, that's the first step. That doesn't seem like the stupidest thing. Again, introduce very teams, talk to other people who are experts, and begin to build your solution. And then it goes on to say, well, but don't ask too many questions, because the expert will give you too much information. I didn't write that. Somebody who purports to be a professor wrote that, and someone assigned that as a textbook in a university. Don't know too much, it'll confuse your little head when trying to do a Mickey Mouse piece of expert system. You cannot have expert systems, AI, intelligence. Don't be too intelligent, it will confuse you. You see how primitive the thing is. It also invites the opportunity. You need to be highly knowledgeable. And you need to feed on the knowledge of other people. If you're prepared to do that, work in a team, be prepared to let an artsy provide the leadership, if necessary. I wouldn't seed it automatically, but you have to understand the nature of it. You have to understand that I want you to choose my email. Just, I want you to choose. I want you to tell me what I need to know when I do a search engine. I want you to tell me that when I go into Walmart, that's a bad example. Test the store actually. Only go into admire the computers. Well, no, it's like so cool to go in the store and watch everyone behaving like a robot. You know, the cashiers going like this, the customers walking, and taking the merchandise off, just as Mother, within seconds of when Mother, if you don't doubt it, statistically often in class, 60% of everything that Walmart sells, it sells before it pays for it. Now, if that's not a way to make money, there's no way to make money on earth. In other words, they order it, you buy it, you pay for it, then they pay for it. And there's an envelope of time in which they earn interest on computer-controlled trading programs, undoubtedly. Oh, we damage our money. I guess, however, it all comes down to one really simple question, challenge, observation. If you really want to participate in this industry, yeah, you're going to have to not be afraid of working with people with other disciplines. You can't be afraid of their vocabulary. You can't be afraid of learning more vocabulary. You can't be afraid of knowing too much to confuse your poor brain. And you can't be afraid of standing in a non-trendy field. You're not alone exactly. But if you have to stand in a crowd, and if you're frightened to stand in like 4 people that's not a crowd, then you're going to regret you ever attended this evening. Because 50 years from now, you will not be able to say, I never knew about the opportunity. And you'll know you just let it go past you. Like in any domain, ladies and gentlemen, if you really care about the impact, if you really care to serve society, build a personal empire, or achieve satisfying work, unless you have courage, you'll fail. And I don't know where that comes from. I just have to say, I really hope, given how handsome these opportunities are, that you'll have courage to pursue them. And I wish you success in business.